This video demonstration is going to walk you through three functions of Word. The first one being adding a page number. The second one is taking data and converting it into a table. And the third one is taking data and making it into a chart. So let's take a look at page numbers first. Typically, page numbers are found in the footer unless you're talking APA, then it's with the running header in the header document. So really just follow whatever standard is set by your company or organization. So I'm going to go ahead and I double clicked into the footer. It automatically pops open with the design tab here. I'm going to pick bottom of page and I will pick one of these. If I don't want the page number on the first page, I can say different first page. It will take the number off, but you'll notice it will keep it on page 2. So this is great if you have to work with a title page, for instance. And that typically is not numbered. So we have data in here, and we just want to convert it. We want to convert it into a table. We don't want to rewrite the data that will have caused human errors and things like that. So we want to convert it into a table itself. So we're going to insert and we're going to say table. Then we're going to say convert text to table. And it will automatically come set. So number of columns, 4, rows, there's 11 of them. And then we're going to hit it by tabs. So you can see that each one of these have been tabbed. So we're going to hit OK. That's going to stick this into a table format. From there, the design already starts. You know, that's the tab that it automatically goes to once we've created a table. It's selected. Let's say we didn't have the table selected. We're somewhere else in our document. We come to the table. We want to select it. We click the box right there. It pops open with our design tab. Then I can pick out any type of formatting I want. I can also, once I've picked this, I can also modify it later on. I can change color schemes and things like that. But I'm just going to pick something that's pretty neutral. And you can see how this has now formatted. I can also then sort of make these a smaller size, like the rank. And then I can highlight these and I can distribute them evenly. So there's lots of ways just to clean up the table, make it more presentable, so that it's easier to look through data. Or if some columns may be larger or smaller, you can automatically drag those around. You can also come in here, you can right click on these, and you can get different types of ways to lay out the information inside of the cell. If you go into table properties, this will also pull up more. So like row, column, cell. I can tell it how big. I can tell it where I want my vertical alignment to be. I can also come back in here and I can remove the space after paragraph. I can add some. I can make it actually before if I want. So there's lots of different ways that you can format the layout of the table. So there's a lot of functionalities that Word carries from Excel as far as like working with the data, sorting the data. So if I select the table, I can come in and I can actually sort it. I can sort by those main headers. So you see rank, retailer, US headquarters, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and sort it by retailer. And I want to tell it that it has a header row, because if I don't, it's just going to like shuffle everything up. So I want to make sure my header row is very clear. It has a header row. I'm going to hit OK. And then it's going to sort them. It's going to keep the data with the same and then sort them. And you can sort ascending, descending. In this case, it was ascending. So you can see ascending. I want to use type text using paragraphs, sort by retailer. So now I want to grab some data, and I'm going to put the data inside of a chart. And this is about retail. So I have a website that I'm going to use, and I'm going to look at the data, and I'm going to build a chart based on this data. So I'm going to look at some data from this National Retail Federation website. just to grab some data to use inside of this document. So I'm going to go to Indiana. I'm going to scroll down and I'm looking for a chart of data here. There it is. Okay. So we're looking at some numbers here. Retail trade, 616,000. So if I come back into my document, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert a chart. And it's only condensed this way because I had it side by side. So yours probably you'll see the insert chart. So I want something that's going to look pretty similar to this. So one of the things that does look pretty similar is the bar chart. And you can choose different ones depending on the style that you like. And that's pretty cool looking. But I'm going to go with the clustered bar. We'll go ahead and hit OK. It might take a few seconds here. And then it pops open with this little box. So the first category I'm going to say is retail trade. And I don't necessarily need these series information, so I'm just going to delete them. And then the series I want to say, because that's what's going to be labeled up here, is direct employment and GDP value by major industry. Okay, and see how that goes across the top there. Then I have, I'm going to add in all my information. So this one was something like something like that. And I'm obviously going to, once I have this in here, I'm obviously going to have to look at and make sure that this number has come along here okay. Okay, so that closed my data window. So I need to go ahead and say edit data. And I'm going to add another one. So art, entertainment, recreation. And I'll have that value in there. You can always move these around just to make them a little bit easier for yourself to read. Construction. So let's go. This value is 71,053. So I'm going to insert some more information inside of this table. So then I need to look at my construction services. This one is about 80,362. Now you may say, oh, I'm getting down to the bottom. But if I just keep clicking, it's going to add more. You can also hit return. It will add more inside of this table. So I need to add just a few more to grab some more information. Okay, so now I have this information. I can X out of it. You can see that it puts it in, it puts it into the chart itself. The design automatically picks up is the first tab, so you can change colors if you want to a different color group. If you click on a single one, you can, if you click on a single one and you go under format, you can actually change the colors. So if you wanted to make a chart a little bit more like what you saw on that page where it had the different colors, you could pick out different colors. And what's nice about it is it does change the icon at the bottom. So then I obviously probably don't want them all reds, but I could do something that differentiates them. So then each one is a little bit different. So I can pick out different colors for every different line that way. If you do it the other way, it will change the entire table to be all the same colors. Try to pick color schemes that work well with it. You can also still come in here and you can edit the text. You can change the format of it. You can add images. This will change the entire thing. And you can see all the different formats you could have in your for your bar chart as well. Ever need to edit data, you can either right click on it and do edit data, or it's up into the design tab as well. So there, and you can also change the chart type. So like let's say that this was not the best chart option. This wasn't depicting the way that the data should be displayed. You can change the chart type as well with the same data and not have to re-enter that data as well. So that's how you can basically just put in a chart with some information. One more quick tip that I want to add is how to insert an image. So most images on the internet are copyrighted unless you go to like a copyright free website such as Pixabay, or maybe you pay for images through Adobe Stock. Really just understanding that most of the images on the internet are copyrighted. So whenever you're using images from the internet, you do need to appropriately cite and reference. I'm just showing you how to put this in here, but in the end, make sure that you always give credit where credit is due when working with images. So I'm going to insert a picture. I'm going to go to my desktop, which is where I have it. I'm going to insert it. And it's very large. So I'm going to hold my shift button and I'm going to just pull this down just a little bit here until I think that it has a reasonable size while not losing too much detail. By holding shift, it keeps it proportional so you're not stretching that image. Then I look at the different formats. You know, you can change the formats of the image. There's a little drop shadow. So there's lots of different things you can do. I gave it a little bit of a border. That's pretty nice. And then I'm going to wrap the text and I'm going to say square. And see how the text has now wrapped around. The other thing that's pretty nice about it is like I can just shift it then. Go ahead and just put that right up against my margin and shift it. So I can push this anywhere in my document and the text will automatically wrap around it. If I decide I don't really like the formatting, look at how many different formats there are. But I can go back through and change the formatting back into the original if that's what I choose to do. But there's lots of different ways that you could format it depending on what type of document you're writing. And that's just a quick way of working with the images, inserting images, doing the wraparound. Again, if I click on it, that automatically brings back up into my format tab and I can choose all these different options. I can align it the way I want because you can even tell it to align left, right, center, wherever you want it. You can distribute it. So you didn't have to manually move it like I did and follow that guideline. You could tell it to align right. You could tell it to align left, whichever direction you want to go. You can add a picture border, picture effects. You can wrap the text any way that you want. There's a lot of different options. But this one's really nice because it basically just wraps right around and gives it a nice border around. So that's just some quick formatting techniques inside of Word.